to What the Frack. We are your fractional team, and today we break down marketing trends, strategies, and tactics in 30 minutes or less so that you can do the fun stuff like be creative. Hi, welcome.
Cool. What the Frack is back live.
Back live. So excited. Last week we had our Where We Were, What We Were Doing episode. This week we're kicking it off really strong. We have Sophie here. I've known Sophie. Sophie, how long has it been now? 6, 7, 10 years?
7, 8 years, something like that. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
It's been such a long time. And I think that a lot of our viewers are probably wondering a little bit about our topic, because if they look you up, your company, you're a massage therapist, and there's so many things there. But I'm so excited about this because I think the tips and information they're going to learn today is a little outside the box, but is going to bring back ROI. It's going to bring back employee happiness. Like, there's just so many things that go into running a business. So I guess where I'm going to start is, can you give us a little bit of your background?
Yeah. So I've been a massage therapist for 25 years. I've always worked in the medical, the medical aspect of massage. So a lot of pain management doctors, physical therapists, it's all injury prevention, maintenance, surgery, rehab, all of that. So and then I traveled with professional baseball for 5 years. And I just got so busy that I started taking on therapists. And then this new part of the company actually came into play about 3 or 4 years ago, because I actually, after 25 years of doing this, got diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. And I was on all the biologics and all the anti-inflammatories and everything else. And I was getting side effects. And so I started using what's in our recovery room to help lower the inflammation in my body. And because of that, I got off all the medicine. I'm able to maintain, at least for right now. And so it's been great. And honestly, by doing that, I've noticed that at least 2 or 3 things of the technologies in the room would benefit every single client that I have. And so that's what we kind of grew into.
Yeah. So Tamara, So Sophie has been an entrepreneur. We were literally sitting in some of these recovery rooms going, this would be amazing for your clients. Can we do it? Can we do it? Can we do it? Yes, we can do it. We had that existential, entrepreneur fight, right? Like, oh, this is a great idea. Should we do this? Ran all the numbers, put a pitch deck together, right? Really thought about this. But in this, I found, at least, Sophie, and I know you've had experience with this, that the pieces to this recovery room actually help my mental clarity, my sleeping, my productivity, all of those things. And as we went down that rabbit hole, there are a lot of high performing people. You've been working with high performing people since, absolutely, baseball, Major League Baseball, right? There's very high performing people who swear by this stuff. So personally, I think this conversation is going to be really great, but I want to take a step back. You do structural realignment, and I never heard that term before working with you. What does that mean?
Yeah, that's kind of what makes us a little bit different. Our approach to massage is really unique. Every massage is customized per client. What we do is we look at the bone structure, which, in massage, you typically work with the muscles and the tissue, but we look at the bone structure. By looking at that, we can kind of analyze what's going on in the body and what we need to do to get the body back into the anatomical position it's supposed to be in. So by doing that, it alleviates pain and pressure off your spine, your joints. We get longer lasting results and then when you are working at your desk or working out or doing any of your daily functions, your body's actually, it's in the right proper position so that you're out of pain and discomfort.
I'm absolutely fascinated. So when Nicole brought up that she wanted to talk with you, because really one of the main things you're focusing on is these therapies that help with employee wellness and combating all the things that happen to, stressed out employees or high functioning teams, which is like burnout and stress and, body fatigue because of that. So when you're focusing on this, can you explain what are the techniques and strategies that you see that you're incorporating into your toolbox that are helping teams now function better?
So it's actually been really interesting. I believe it kind of started with COVID. ever since COVID, the corporations are really taking wellness to another level, and they're actually investing in their companies, they're investing in their clients. It's been anywhere from the employees, or actually a lot of times they'll buy gifts for their higher functioning clients, which is really, really amazing. But what we tend to do, or what we've seen through the corporations that come in here, higher CEO levels, anybody that's on the higher level, is obviously their mental clarity is really incredible. Using the contrast therapy, I think we spoke about that a little bit. The cold plunge, which I know nobody likes. I've been doing it for years, and every single time I don't want to get in there, but I know the mental focus and the clarity that I get from it, the immune boost, heading into the flu season and, the winter time and everything else, the immune boost, which helps with productivity because you're not sick, you're not feeling fatigued, all of that. It's been really interesting as far as the technologies of the recovery room, and the different things that help with just your overall boost and your dopamine, and your, the sauna that we use actually lowers your risk of heart attack by 51% if it's used on a regular basis. So everything that's in there helps to some level, whether it's just a superficial level and getting the blood flow going in your legs from sitting at a desk for 8 hours, or down to the detox of the sauna and the cold plunge and all that. And then as far as the massage goes, obviously, nowadays, and as I'm sitting here, I'm noticing it with myself, you slouch.
Always.
Yeah, I know. I keep
so bad. I know. I'm like, okay, I gotta sit.
Okay.
It's just, and when you're sitting there for hours and hours and hours on end, it's just, your back hurts, your neck hurts, you get wrist issues, you get, shoulder, you get neurological issues down your arm, down your legs. So with the structural realignment aspect of the massage, we really can get you, actually that paired with working out or physical therapy or whatever we can loosen you up all day, but if you don't have the strength to keep you there, then we're kind of chasing our tail. So it's really great in pairing with different other people in the medical community to kind of get your posture back so that you are in better alignment, and it alleviates all the pain and pressure off your nerves and joints.
So it's funny. Yeah. I just totally got into contrast therapy, and it's kind of rough when you start, because you go from the sauna to the cold plunge.
Yes.
And I do this repeatedly for about an hour, right? Yeah. 15 minutes in the sauna, and then about 5 minutes in the cold plunge.
Good job. That's great.
It takes it's actually, there's this mental, it feels like you're running a marathon. Like you have to have that sort of mental determination to do it, because what's coming, and it's like a discipline. So it makes me feel really good. But one of the things, as I was reading up on it and getting into it, I actually read that it stimulates the growth of new neural pathways in your brain.
Yes.
Which is one of the, incredibly appealing things, because that starts to fight off, aging, and it helps with creativity. So there's this real function of elevating your ability to do challenges and think at an executive level just by doing this contrast therapy.
Yep. And it's really interesting. So the neuroplasticity, what you're talking about, and the neural pathways that you're talking about, it's a huge thing for longevity. Tony Robbins, Huberman, like all the main guys are really getting into it. But it's do hard things, basically is that's what actually kind of helps reset the neuroreceptors in your brain, whether it's challenging yourself to learn a new language or, whatever it is. But on a daily, the cold plunge really does help. It benefits your brain, obviously your body, but your brain to function as well.
Yeah. I also never sleep better than when I do the cold plunge before time, right? But a lot of people do it when they wake up because they get that jolt of energy for the day. I like to do it later in the day because I sleep really well. And, when I was in my 20s, I really lived on 4 hours sleep. And I thought that was like a badge of honor. Now I've become the person who can't get less than 7 hours. And the amount that sleep really helps you in your day-to-day, in your decision-making, in your productivity is so important. And I just want to go back to something. I pulled a few facts because I want our listeners to actually realize that we're not just plugging you because you're amazing and you're a great entrepreneur, because this is actually really important to them, right? So, so companies that have employee wellness programs, their employees take 16% less sick days. That is 16% more time that their employees are working at their desk, doing the projects they need to work on. Also, various studies from multiple different agencies have seen that there's an ROI of anywhere between $1.50 and $3 on every dollar spent on employee wellness programs. And some of them even seeing up to $6 ROI. So you're talking about, we're talking about sleep and mental clarity, but there's also the red light therapy, which is bringing down inflammation, making people feel better, but also helping them with anti-aging and confidence and in their appearance. You have things like PEMF and the compression boots, right? Yep. These are things that are going to help people who are sitting there constantly in front of computers, make them feel better, make them want to come to work. And then also the idea, Tamara, I don't know if you've heard about this, but employees who feel like the companies care, and I don't know the exact fact, we'll have to look this up. I know there is a stat here. Employees who feel that their companies actually care don't churn as fast. Yeah. And so this is a little benefit that can make them feel like they actually care about them.
Yep. Yeah, it's company culture. Like the company culture is is really important. Like I said, but since COVID, we've seen a huge jump and productivity of the corporations putting their clients first and their clients' health and wellness first, because they understand that the company culture is what's going to keep people in the office. It is going to help the turnover rate. It's going to help the productivity. It's going to help just the overall happiness of the office.
Well, and we've been hearing so much about burnout, and I say that as if it's this thing out there. Burnout is so real right now for so many people. And it's hard. It's hard to get out of burnout. And when that happens, when a company's culture is creating that, then they're, like you said, Nicole, retention is bad. That costs the bottom line. And so there's not a lot of great ways to combat burnout that isn't like taking down workload. And I'm trying to people say meditate, but what you're talking about is there's an actual physical thing to do that will help your body recover from a burnout, which you think of as only a mental stress.
Absolutely.
So how do you tell me more about that? Because I think a lot of people would like to know that there's something else, because meditating can be so frustrating when you're burnt out, right?
So I know. I still try. I try so hard. I just cannot shut my mind off. It comes down to self-care. It's like, Nicole was talking about, the how good she sleeps after she does the cold plunge in that room. So it's like, the sleeping is, there's study after study after study, of people with the sleep and how, that helps with the brain function in your body and, warding off with the immune system, is huge. I feel like anything that you do as far as burnout goes, it really is taking a step back. And I think that's what that room provides. Obviously the massage is self-care and health and wellness and all that, and getting your body, the physical, functions of your body back. But just taking the time, whether it's a half hour or an hour and a half, to do something, some of that stuff in the room, and you're not only getting the physical response of it, but you're slowing down, you're stopping, you're being intentional. So it is it's almost like an active meditation, if you will. I do have clients that will come in there, they'll sit on the compression boots and they'll work on their computer, sit there for a half hour, they will work. But it is just putting your health and wellness first. So it has to do with burnout, has a lot to do with slowing down, taking a step back, self-care. And so not only are you getting the pain and inflammation of that room and the recovery, and if you're having a physical response, but you really are having the mental, emotional response of taking the time and valuing yourself first.
It's a little bit sad, Nicole, that, just saying that there's someone coming and working while doing self-care.
I know. Oh, wait, that's me. Wait a second. She's talking about me. What are you talking about? Sad. Oh, yeah. No, I'm seriously. Sometimes you just can't, right? Like we all only have a certain amount of time in the day. And the crazy thing about it is this is also like habit stacking, right? We talk about this a lot. Like the more you care for yourself, the more endorphins you get, the more you feel better. Then you can go to the gym or work out. You start meeting people. It's a community, right? Like Sophie, I know at your facility, we do things like breath work and yoga and all sorts of things where you bring in other experts, because the health and wellness space is a community. So yes, we're talking about it from an ROI perspective because employee wellness is such a big topic right now. But we also have a lot of executives out there who are listening who like feel terrible every day. Like I wake up, my shoulders maybe hurt. Like before I started doing all this, my shoulders would hurt. Then I wouldn't sleep well. Then I'd be stressed. Then the stress takes a really hard toll on your body. And when we're talking about high performing people, like that is a lot of stress for our bodies. That's a lot of indoor light. It's a lot of things that we should be like combating. And so just the things like, I'm looking at a list of what we have in the room, Sophie, here.
Yeah.
And if you guys are in Arizona, please stop by, reach out to either me or Sophie, Active Bodyworks, because you have to come check this out. But I'm looking at the list of the stuff we have, like PEMF. Most people don't know what PEMF is, but it's basically, it's electromagnetic pulsing, right? Correct?
Pulsating electromagnetic frequency.
Yes. And I'm looking at it here, and it's cellular repair, regeneration, and energy. I mean, who does not have an issue with energy?
Right. Yep, absolutely. And it helps open up all the microcirculation in your body. So it helps with wound healing and bone growth. If my back hurts, I literally sit on it for 8 minutes and my back doesn't hurt anymore for a while. So it really is, it's amazing. Cramping, everybody gets cramps from sitting at a computer or sitting at a desk, the dehydration, you're not drinking enough water. It's endless on what it helps.
Well, and those are those things that too, like longevity, right? If you think about having to lose an employee to having to get heart surgery, back surgery, they have to retire sooner because they are, aging not great, right? Because of the stress of the job, right? Heart attack. I mean, there's lots of things that people don't feel well, and all of this stuff. Red light therapy improves energy and mood.
Yeah.
What did we love for our employee, like our team, to actually like want to be there and be in good moods? Yeah. I don't know. That's just, it seems like duh to me.
I think that the challenge of the room, or at least what I've found so far is from opening this up and everything else, is like you talked about is the self-care aspect, and it's taking the time, so to do that room properly, it takes about an hour and a half. But if you do the membership, you can come in, you can do the PEMF and the red light one day, and then you can do the cold plunge in the sauna another day. And you can, so you can actually it's better to do it more often, to your point, because then you're getting the benefits of it rather than making it this big production. So the red light therapy is amazing. Obviously, for some of this stuff has aesthetics, there's aesthetic things to it. So red light therapy, a lot of women are loving it because it helps with fine lines and wrinkles and collagen production, all that kind of stuff. But it really does, from a medical side, it does boost mood. It does help you sleep better. It does actually decrease the pain and inflammation on superficial joints. So there's so many deeper, meaningful things. Yes, you have the superficial aspects of it that everybody's making a big deal out of because the beauty industry is ridiculously lucrative. But from actually like a physical response, and but it does for your body and mentally, it really is absolutely amazing.
What I'm curious about, Nicole, because we have a lot of executives, business leaders, and fractional executives who watch our show. And oftentimes we're talking about strategies that help with business growth, sales growth, marketing strategies, right? And what's really fascinating here is that we're starting to kind of pick through how people can become the best version of themselves to be the best either leader or excel at what they're doing within a team. And what's funny is I started doing some of these things just because I knew, at the pace that I was going, working with startups, I needed to start dedicating time to myself and my, I don't even know how to explain it, but by tuning in and becoming determined and being able to do some of these things, both physically and mentally, it made me excel in creativity and leading different organizations. So what I'm curious, that was a long-winded way of saying, I'd love to hear what you do personally that you feel like make you the leader that you can be to run your business. So do you have a wellness routine or something that you've decided that you need to do, and that's what is now helping you lead your business.
Level. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, I opened the business because I love all the technology in there, and it's something that I wanted to use. So I do the room now. When I first started out, because I was so inflamed from my autoimmune disease, I made it a point to get in there about 3 times a week when I was paying for it at a different location, which, to be honest, was very difficult. Like I said, it takes an hour and a half to go through the room. And so I had to, it was driving there, just doing all the things, getting the bathing suit on, all that kind of, it takes a chunk of time. So, but I made it a point to do it 3 times a week, and I gave it 1 month. I tried 1 month, and I went all in, and the benefits were so incredible that I felt amazing. But, I was sleeping better. I was, my level, I wasn't vibrating because I was so stressed out all the time. My immune was better. My skin was better. Like just my energy boost that I got from it. So after that month, I was sold. So for me now, moving forward, since, my inflammation's kind of down, my autoimmune is under control a little bit more. I do the cold plunge at least once a week, if not twice. And I do the whole room, at least, I use the room like sporadically. Like there's some days I'll do the PEMF and the red light, but I think that just being able to do it on a regular basis, finding somewhere that's convenient, because it's like creating habits. Whenever you're creating habits, it's really creating the micro habits, making it easy, making it functional. Just try it once, maybe aim for once a week, and then maybe aim for twice a week. And then, okay, what am I finding benefits from? Try to do it, a couple more times, just so that you're creating the consistency and building off of it. So for me, I do the room, I do everything in the room at least twice a week. And then, but sometimes it's kind of little by little, and sometimes it's like, okay, I need a big block, but a lot of it's knowing yourself. I feel like when you are a high level CEO, or when you are an entrepreneur, or if you are, a mother or a father, and you're running on, you're redlining constantly. So it's knowing yourself well enough to know when you need to take a step back, and, you can't fill anybody else's cups unless your cup's full. And it's so hard when you are functioning and you are powering through and you're in survival mode and you're in that fight or flight. It's hard to realize that to be more productive, you actually need to take a step back. You have to prioritize yourself. You have to prioritize your health, because if you don't have that, you don't have anything else to give. And you're making decisions for the company or decisions in your life based off of that fight or flight response, instead of a conscious decision that you're making because you know that it's going to benefit. So I'm not saying that all the decisions are bad that way, but I do feel like you're going to have more clarity. You're going to have, have more focus. You're going to actually make better decisions. You're going to have the capability to make the decisions if you just prioritize yourself. So I know that was a long answer to that.
Plus there's just the ROI. You're going to make $1.50 to $3 every dollar you spend on wellness.
Absolutely.
Sophie, you know this about me. I came about all this stuff because of a health issue. And I feel like most people don't take this seriously until they have a health issue. Mm-hmm. And a lot of this is preventative, right? We put a lot of stress on our bodies as executives, as high performing. I mean, I don't need to keep going over it over and over again, but Tamara, the team takes a lot of stress. The launches, right? Even if you're doing this like right after a big launch, now let's do a team building where we come and do some wellness, right? Find someone by your company who does these types of things. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of experts out there you could look up, like, Andrew Huberman, Tony Robbins, like they all talk about this. Lewis Howes, right? They all talk mm-hmm. about these things, but experience it yourself. And I guess, Sophie, what would you recommend in terms of, we keep talking about how massage is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity in our society. Can you talk a little bit about that and what you recommend for someone, bare minimum, when they should be getting massages?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. We are kind of on that cusp of people actually considering it a need, a need in their life rather than this luxury. And granted, it's all in the intention. If you're going to a spa at a big fancy hotel and you're getting the rub down, you're doing the thing, like that's relaxing. That may not be a need. But when you're actually doing some, structural realignment, you're doing it for pain. Huh?
I said, no, it's a need.
You're like, no, it's a need. Yeah, if you're doing it for pain management, if you are doing it for, that kind of thing, then it really is a need. And it's also finding the right therapist that has the, the right intention behind it. I always recommend, like, if you're actually having an issue, if you're having, lower back issues or sciatic nerve issues, or if you're having, then you probably need to go in about once a week or once every 2 weeks just to help kind of make gains to get that structural realignment back. But if it's just about a maintenance, by the time your body hurts, it's already been in pain. You've already had the structural, the twist in your hips to where, and working like that. And so it's causing lower back issues. And it's like, so the whole point is to get in there before you're in pain so that you can help the better quality of life. So, and that typically for most of my clients is about 4 to 6 weeks. So we recommend every 4 to 6 weeks coming in for an hour and a half, get your body back into balance. And even when they come in there, it's like, oh God, I didn't realize how tight I was. So, if you can do it once a month, once every month and a half, it'll help you maintain your body, the posture, so that you can actually function and you're not in pain and you don't have those periods of time where your back goes out or your neck, you're getting headaches or you're having migraines or, whatever it is. It helps prevent so you can actually, function better.
I totally forgot about migraines. That comes, a lot of people's migraines come from
everything we do is screen time.
Yeah.
Screen time.
Everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know we're kind of at time here, but I have 2 questions. Tamara, I'm just jumping in here. I have 2 questions. One is, we have like a depth of knowledge here, because you're not only talking to us about the wellness part of it, you are an entrepreneur yourself. You just expanded your business pretty significantly.
Yes.
What is one piece of advice you have for other entrepreneurs out there who are looking to expand?
Ooh, don't freak out. No, no, I think that the issues that a lot of you have is the overwhelm. That's the overwhelm. It's, you have 15 things to do, you accomplish 3 and you add 5 more. So it's really, I would, everybody talks about balance, and balance is this big buzzword, especially in the wellness industry and people and everything. To be honest, there is no balance. And I don't mean to rain on everybody's parade, but I think of it more of like a pendulum. Like so it's like when you're, I'm a mom with 2 kids and I have a business, and, so it's like when my home life is thriving, my business has to take a back step. And when my business is thriving, my home does. So it's like, giving yourself grace to get whatever it is that you need to done, have your red line items that you have to get done. And then, that maybe 3 levels, and get the red line. And if you don't get to some of the other items, like it's, give yourself some grace and try to be as organized as possible. I think what has worked for me is really being really like my intention is like, I know what my intention is for Monday. I know what my intention is for Tuesday. Like if I sway off of it, then so be it. But at least I have a little bit of organization where like Monday's the money day. Monday's the thing where I go through and I pay bills and I do all the things. And then Tuesdays, and then I have marketing, and, so I have everything kind of lined out to where, I can deviate from the plan, but at least there's a plan. I think it's when you get overwhelmed, you start throwing all this stuff on, and it exacerbates the problem. So, and that doesn't help with your mental clarity. It doesn't help with your productivity. It doesn't help with your focus. So, all of the things. So it's the overwhelm that I think, it's finding whatever works for you to create the processes in your life to help the overwhelm be as little as possible.
I started reading books in the sauna so I can disconnect, and I've gotten so much more read, Tamara. We may have to do an episode on like books that I've read recently, because sauna.
Atomic Habit. Have you read that one? That one's an amazing one. I love that. That's a great one for mental clarity and productivity.
I guess my last question, and I'm sure Tamara has questions too, but my last question is, if someone is looking to come in, let's say they can't come to Active Bodyworks, they're looking for a massage therapist, they're looking for these wellness services, what should they look out for? What should be one thing, like a red flag they should look out for in terms of if we're talking about it for productivity, for pain management? Is there something that they should be thinking about when they're picking their facility?
First, I would really recommend, when you're looking for a great massage therapist, what I always tell people when they're going to a new city or, finding a new one or anything like that, instead of just wasting the money of going to a bunch of different places that just pump people through and it's just about rubbing lotion on them, to get really good quality, I typically would call either a pain management doctor or physical therapy or somebody in the medical community that would work, or athletic director or something like that, and ask them if they have any referrals. Typically, they're going to have good quality people that they refer to their clients. That's going to be more medically based. It's going to be a lot more specific to what you're looking for pain management or for postural realignment or whatever it is. So that's a really good baseline step of, contacting your local physical therapist or chiropractor sometimes. So, I would definitely start with that. And honestly, you know your body. Just because it's deep doesn't necessarily mean that it's actually doing good work. So focus on, once you get the massage, see how you feel. If you feel great for a day or two, if you only feel good for a couple hours, it may not be as therapeutic as what you're looking for, if you're looking for long-term benefits.
I love it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. All great information. And again, I'm just a huge fan right now on taking a step back and understanding what's going to help your mind and body just excel. And it's going to be different for everybody. But you should try some of these tools. Because again, even before this conversation, I had started trying contrast therapy, and I know that I feel better and I sleep better. I also decided to try and run a half marathon so that I could dedicate time and to
I didn't know this.
Yeah. Oh, we'll talk about it later.
Amazing.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
tracking it in my Nike app, which has been fantastic. But they're not things because I was like, oh, I want to run a half. It was because I was like, no, I need to hit a goal. I need that for my brain. And then I need the exercise literally for stress management, nothing else.
Yeah.
So it's if you are feeling certain ways, there's tools so that your brain can excel in order to lead these organizations. So I think this is.
Sophie, you said doing hard things, and I always say the same thing about finding a hobby for. There is no balance. You're right. You don't shut off from your business, but if you could find a hobby that has complementary attributes that it helps with. So for instance, ultra running for me, it was goal setting. It was pushing through the wall. It was learning how to fuel my body to do the hard things, right? Some people find traveling abroad or traveling solo, right? That's a big one. And I think that cold plunging, sauna, all those pieces do help that. And on a side benefit, Tamara, every time you get into that cold plunge in the sauna, it burns 500 calories. So when you're a busy person who can't get to the gym as often, there you go. You have another reason to do this.
Yeah. And talks about the habit stacking and the creating habits that create better benefits, right? Running and doing doing the contrast therapy makes me go to bed earlier. Otherwise, I'd be up late and then waste my next day, right?
So, it's exactly what I was just going to say. That's there's, it's really, so in masonry, they talk about the keystone. So the keystone is the one rock or whatever that actually kind of keeps everything else up. So you take that one out and everything crumbles. And it's finding those keystone habits in your life that blend into everything else, whether it's going to bed earlier so you can wake up later, or getting up earlier, and food, water, coming in and doing the cold plunge and all of that. It's it bleeds into every aspect of your life. So it's finding those little habits, whatever they are for you, that will benefit more than just that one thing. So it's really,
plus if you want to meet other high producing, achieving people, what do? You do things that other high achieving people are doing. Exactly. I met some of my best friends, wellness, running, right? And they're also high achieving people. Tamara is going to be out here with me. So we'll have to maybe post some behind the scenes of us doing the wellness room on our social medias, and telling you how it works for us. So we'll do that. So that gives me the pause to say, follow us on social media, go on YouTube. We're always on LinkedIn every Thursday. We're doing one of these lives on LinkedIn with other experts. Sophie, where can they find you?
www.activebodyworks.com. We are on Instagram, Facebook. You can reach out to us any platform. We are newly on TikTok that we're starting to build a little bit, as long as it's still up. So yeah, feel free. 480-219-0590 is our phone number. You can schedule online. You can reach out to us. Honestly, you just come in and use it. We really truly want to help people and benefit every avenue of their life. So just come in. You know, you can use the recovery room for free for the first time. We always have specials going on, always have benefits, you know, and a lot of collaborations with other people in the community. So,
yay.
Wonderful. Can't wait to try it.
I know. I'm excited
to try it.
Thank you, ladies. I really appreciate it. It's really great to create the awareness out there. So I really appreciate you, all that you do.
Yes. And thank you. And join our newsletter. And we will see you next week, here on What the Frack Live.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.